Increasing rate of suicide in Nigeria, standing in the name of Honorable Chukwuma Umeoji. Honorable Umeoji is invited to move the motion.
Umeoji, representing the good people of Agwata Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my motion is on the increasing rate of suicide in Nigeria. The House notes that suicide is the act of taking one's life intentionally, and as it happens impulsively in moments of crisis, with a breakdown in the ability to deal with life's stresses, such as financial and emotional problems. Chronic pain, illness, unemployment, poverty, drug abuse, depression, hopelessness, discrimination, and bullying, intimidation, and suppression. The House also notes that people in zones where there are conflicts, disasters, violence, abuse, or loss, and sense of isolation are more strongly associated with suicidal behaviors, and the rates are higher among vulnerable groups like migrants, refugees, indigenous people, prisoners, and people who are sexually discriminated against. The House recalls that reports by the World Health Organization, WHO, that suicide accounts for about 1 million deaths worldwide annually. And for every death by suicide, more than 20 people must have attempted suicide. The House also recalls that the Global Health Observatory had put the global age standardization suicide rate at 14.4 per 1,000 people, and that suicide is the second cause of death among those aged between 15 and 29. Observes that the suicide rate in Nigeria is estimated at 9.8 per 1,000 people, which is higher than the regional average, and Nigeria is ranked 30 among 185 countries by the World Health Organization, WHO, with incidence of suicide. Cognizant that 60 countries have vital registration data on suicide, while only 38 countries have in place a national suicide prevention strategy, and Nigeria is not among the countries listed. Also cognizant that suicide is one of the conditions in the WHO Mental Health Gap Action Program, MHGAP, of which Nigeria is a member nation, and is committed towards the global target of reducing suicide rate in countries by 10% in 2020. The House due resolves to urge the federal government to adopt a national suicide prevention strategy and also establish social welfare centers and mental health care and psychological assistance in all the local government areas in the country. Call on the National Orientation Agency to embark on sensitization and advocacy program on suicide prevention. Mandate the Committee on Health Care Services, Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values to ensure implementation. I so move, Mr. Speaker. The love of the legislators for the life of Nigerians. The suicide rate in Nigeria is increasing on a daily basis. And the most worrisome part of it is that suicide is higher among people who are between 19 to 29 years, which is the youthful population. And in Nigeria, we have a large number of youths. And one of the most important part of it is that suicide is triggered by, especially in Nigeria, by unemployment and then poverty. There are other factors, but these are the two most principal factors involved in the cause of suicide in Nigeria. The level of unemployment, as we know, is increasing far beyond the statistics that we are seeing, because on a daily basis, the last one released by the World Health Organization, more and more people are dying. The problem with suicide in Nigeria is that most of the cases are not reported because people fear stigmatization. So out of every one reported case, you have about approximately 50 unreported cases. And if one person attempted suicide, know that around that environment, you have up to 24 or 25 people that are also in that bracket. And once somebody lost the ambition of contemplate attempting suicide, there's every likelihood that not giving proper attention, the person might end up committing suicide. And as the economic crunch worsens, it is expected that maybe as the year goes by, the suicide rate will continue to increase if nothing is done. And one of the cardinal changes in the society is that as we continue to embrace the Western culture, we abandon the African communal way of life, which makes it possible for our people to take care of our young ones, especially the people who are not engaged in any meaningful occupation. In a traditional African setting, everybody cares for everybody. If somebody is distressed, or if somebody suffers harm in any way, people gather in that community to assist the person. If somebody is not employed, you can always get assistance from your relations. But as we gradually embrace Western culture, we abandon these safety nets that our people provided for us to survive. But in the Western culture, which we think our people describe as the best way of life, they also have safety nets because they know that the capitalism they are practicing thrives on isolationism. The individualistic nature of the Western man made it possible for him to ignore his environment and the people around him. But the government, in order to control what will happen, decided to establish welfare institutions. They have privileges accrued to people who are unemployed, unemployment benefit they have for the elderly. But we don't have such things in place. And that is why I think, with time, it might be necessary for us to come up with bills for social welfare for people to cushion the effect.
Thank you, Honorable Umeoji.
And Honorable Speaker, just one more point.
Thank you.
If somebody knows that,
Honorable Umeoji, be guided. Honorable Umeoji, be guided.
So I now put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.